Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Chasing Rank for another Tuesday night game week review live stream. Hopefully, you guys are doing well and that you've had an incredible game week. With me, as always, on a Tuesday night is Damo and Dom. Fellas, how we going?
Yeah, not too bad, Paulie. Not too bad at all. I'm sporting a very nice new Inter Miami kit, which I picked up on the weekend. But yeah, not too bad here. How about yourself, Dom?
Going great, mate. Had a good week in FPL standards side of things, but Chelsea did not have a good week. So bittersweet, but we'll cover it all.
Yeah, exactly right. And that is what we're here for. You might have seen in the thumbnail or the title of this video, and Damo was very heavily talking about this last week. So we will get into a bit of a wildcard discussion later in the episode. We've been live for all of 1 minute. The chat is already popping off. So if you're watching this on the replay, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like the video, but also make sure you turn the notification on so you know that when we are streaming. It is 8 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time. And Dom, correct me if I'm wrong, because I saw it on Twitter before. I think it's 11:30 BST on Tuesday. So it's middle of the day Tuesday. But that is when we're live. And if you live in other time zones, then use the 8 p.m. Australian Central Standard Time to sort you guys out. So, fallers and ballers this week. We always start with the lowest performing manager on the week, which this week is Damo. So, hopefully you guys can see his side. Do I need to zoom it in a little bit, Damo?
Yeah, zoom it in. Let him bask in all this glory.
How's that? I can't really do it much bigger than that.
That's fine. All good. Ballers, none, zero. None of them are ballers. Actually, if you scroll down slightly, I do have a baller. Tiago, first sub. What a baller. Fantastic.
The chat was popping off. Group chat was popping off.
Yeah, like I only put him in because I had money, and if you are going to free hit, you might as well have a playing player or two just in case there's a random benching, which actually got one with Gibbs White, and unfortunately Forrest played absolutely poor, which meant he had to come on for 45 minutes because if he stayed off, would have got a green arrow. But yeah, Tiago, baller, fantastic, one of the better options. He's not making my wildcard team, shock. But fantastic, and probably rubbed salt into the wound. Where we were at one stage in game week 5, my live rank was 334k. I've now dropped outside of 1.3 mil. So yeah, nice swing. There's no other ballers in this team, so we'll just move on to fallers.
There is one. There is one. There's one.
So he hurt my rank because people triple captained him.
He hurt your rank, but he's a baller.
Yeah, he's not a baller for me.
There's two more ballers. There's two more ballers.
I think personally, if you looked at Haaland's performance, was pretty poor up until the last 10 minutes where he scored a couple of goals. I think what we expect from him against Burnley, we kind of got it, but I think we all wanted it a bit more. So yeah, I think if you triple captain him, well done, obviously. But when you want to triple captain Haaland, you really want a hat trick plus another goal, maybe, or an assist. So you probably got an extra return or was on top. So yeah, I think 32 points. Look, if you triple captain him, well done. I honestly think if you're up against Burnley, one of the promoted sides, you're captaining Haaland, you want about 40 to 50 points. So anyhow, it is what it is. For me, he's not a baller. I don't really care. In terms of my other baller, Stev's a baller. He scored 2 goals on the weekend. Did very well. With a -2. But yeah, fallers. First faller is the entire team.
It's not really your side, is it?
It's great. So yeah, the biggest faller obviously is Bruno missing a pen. Can't wait to wildcard you out, sir. You've been nothing but pain. The last faller is me. At one point on my drafts, I did have Doku in my side. Didn't go with him. I had a draft that had no Reinders. Didn't go with him, and I had a draft with no Gibbs White at one point this game week. But I decided, look, he's club captain at Forest. Surely he starts in a good fixture and then he goes and gets benched. So obviously the faller is me. Game week 7 is about when I start taking notice of my rank. So yeah, to go from 334 live rank in game week 5 to 1.3 mil in game week 7, I'm the faller because I'm falling in rank. And I think my season is currently on a downward spiral and I don't see it arresting itself unless I nail my wild card. Hence why I've spent 13 hours on Fantasy Football Hub today.
Is that it?
All right, Dom, 75 points. Kick us off. Talk us through your side.
I'll start with my fallers because I'm going to be a bit more positive than Damo. So start low, come up higher. Fallers, I think it's like the 3rd week in a row, but Pedro Porro had benched for starters. And it comes on for 1 point. If he doesn't get benched, I get juice 5. Or sorry, if he doesn't come on, I get juice 5. But he's just offering nothing. Like I watched that second half, they were peppering him and just nothing. I got a few here, so once again, Cody Gakpo. I don't know why he got benched.
Minutes.
I'm just bewildered.
He's played so much. Wasn't a surprise.
Start Champions League. Yeah, I know, annoying. And then I'm going to go with Robert Sanchez. Time to go. He's time to go as well. Chelsea, horrendous. 5.0 for a keeper that's just no chance. Just does not look like keeping a clean sheet. Is he 4.9 now?
Yeah.
Awesome. Anyway, moving on. There's just a few to pick from. Baller number 1 at the top, the robot, the Norwegian beast, Erling Haaland. Paul talked me into the triple captain. I just thought, stuff it, let's go. I think I did it half an hour before the lockout. So glad I did. And it was lucky. He did score 2 of his goals in extra time, but that's what he does. He just finds the back of the net, and he's got that dog in him. He just wants to score goals. Game's over, wants to bang him in. Finally, Ollie Watkins bangs in a goal. You had both gone to sleep. I was talking to myself in the chat. So happy to see him get the goal and restoring the faith that I've shown in him. Is it worth it? Maybe not, but that probably would have been Gyökeres if I didn't keep the faith in him. So he blanked. So yeah, happy for him. Happy Villa get their scoring shoes on. And my third one, I'm going to go with Anderson. Just DC again. 3 points. I said this to Paul. 3 points in a 3-1 loss. Take it every day of the week. Yeah. Just been so happy with that one. So passing on to you, Paul.
He is very, very nice. Same score as you, Dom. So combined first in the night with 75. Did it a little bit differently. So I don't want to harp on the same thing. So, had the triple captain on Haaland. Took on Anderson with Munoz, which was disappointing because, with 5 minutes to go, Munoz is on for, a clean sheet and potential DEFCON, ends up on 9, thinking if he can get himself to 9 points, it's just an absolute steal, or 7 points, whatever it would be. But Chiesa had to score, and Munoz then had to go pushing for for a winner, which, Palace go and do, which is a little bit disappointing. Haaland, triple captain, massive again for the game week. Don't need to go too much into that. But my big baller is my boy Senesi. He's on the thumbnail. I went there on the wild card and he's repaid the faith with clean sheets. He's also had 3 attacking returns in 6 weeks as well. He scored 1 goal and got 2 assists. And he actually provides a big aerial threat from set pieces, which is where he gets his assist from, a little flick on for the equaliser, I believe. So very, very happy with him getting a bonus. And it's not just scraping DEFCON. It's like every week he's getting like 14 or 15. So he is just absolutely locked in.
Only player to go 6 from 6, I believe, on DEFCON.
Yeah, yes, he is. He is very good, where I would honestly say if it was 5.8 million, I'd probably still pay it at the moment.
Yeah, he's so good.
And if you watch him play, he's obviously the distributor. He loves driving with the ball, especially if teams sit back. You'll see him get a lot of assists this year, driving, attacking into open space, hitting the striker's feet, and getting the assists from that. And that's what you want.
And from set pieces as well. He's flicked a few balls on, which strikers have got onto. My decision this week I had to make was, did I go Raya or did I go Gabriel? Now that swung and hit me in the face for 11 points, which is frustrating. I didn't think Gabriel would pop up with a goal against Newcastle, which is exactly why Dan Burns sitting on my bench, who also finished on 9 DEFCON in that game as well. So in another world, I could have had 4 of my 5 defenders hit DEFCON with 2 of them getting 9. I think from a structure perspective, I'm pretty happy with my wild card from game week 4. Damo's spoken about Bruno Fernandes. Look, I guess the positive light is Man United are creating penalty opportunities, but I don't know where the confidence is right now for him missing them all. So it's frustrating. I don't see him coming off of it. Maybe he needs that next international break as a bit of a reset, and hopefully Amarin can either get sacked or,
well, I
back in the 10.
Read something. Credible source. They've pulled him in and they've said, mate, basically play your 4-3-3. Get rid of this 3-4-1-2, whatever it is. Nonsense.
3, 4, 2, 1.
Yeah, and apparently he wasn't happy with that. So
it's not working. Yeah, no. It's not working. They're conceding chances. They're not scoring chances. they actually look okay. Like there's times in games where like they have 30-minute stretches where they dominate. So it's like, is it a system thing? Is it a player thing? Is it a combination of both? Who knows?
You just know they're gonna cop goals.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So you know
good target fixture.
Yeah. So look, I think attackers are fine still, and Buemo has chances and he's still high and wide. So I think there's still some conversation to be had about Manchester United attack, but for my side right now, I'm sitting just outside the top 100K, which I'm very, very happy with. 2 weeks ago, I was at 1.2 mil. So all you need is a bench boost and a wild card or a triple captain to go your way, and you can absolutely rocket your way up the ranks. I'm out of chips now, but my team is in a position where I really like it long term. So I'm not rushing. I've released a little video today already on the channel. So if you haven't gone and seen that short, make sure you go and check it out as well. But I'm likely to do Munoz to Gabriel. I've got the money in the bank to do that. That was my plan from last week, was get Raya in early because of price rises. Gabriel, I was able to wear the one price rise that he got last week. And now they've got Champions League and his ownerships. The buyers are starting to slow down a little bit with Champions League on Thursday for us. So as long as he gets through that one easy done, then he will be coming into the side Friday or Saturday, hopefully Saturday if there's no price movement for Munoz or Gabriel. So that is our roundup. Get your comments in the chat because we will get to them a little bit later on. The thumbnail and the title of the video is about our wildcard strategy in particular. So Damo's actually Dom's got his wildcard up his sleeve too, but I don't know when you're thinking of playing it, Dom. But Damo is definitely playing it this week.
Active already.
There you go. It's active already. Damo is already on about the price changes.
Saturday night, I think.
Yeah, as soon as the deadline clicked over and went back in, just because of price rises to get some certain people in. So.
Yeah. So whilst Damo is setting himself up to share his screen, can we make sure that we do like the stream? At the moment, we are sitting on 9 likes. Last week's stream ended on 23 likes in the end. So the goal for the next 45 or so minutes is to beat 23 likes on the stream. So can we get to 25 likes tonight on the stream? That would be fantastic. If you do have friends who play FPL and you're in the chat, make sure you share that link with them. And Damo, talk us through your game week 7 draft, because there is one name on there that I absolutely love and I'm jealous that you've got, and you might be able to pick out who that is.
I think that's Ismail Sarr, right?
It is. I love him so much.
Yeah. Look, there's certain couple of things that I thought about the wild card. One of the first things I said to myself is that I know I'm a good FPL manager. I have historically finished inside the top 100K a lot. I just need to trust myself a little bit. You know, I've been in worse ranks, 3-4 mil at this point, and still finished top 100K. So just needed to take a second and then spent 13 hours tinkering away. Yeah, in terms of wild card, I think the first thing I set out is when do I want a bench boost, because I still have that up my sleeve as well. I was leaning bench boost 9, if you remember the last week stream. I've actually decided to move it to bench boost 8. Couple reasons. Obviously, a couple of the newly promoted sides are playing each other in that game week, which is really good. So Sunderland are playing Wolves and Leeds is playing Burnley, I think off the top of my head, which is great. So some really good fixtures to target while still not having too much money on the bench. Secondly, it doesn't allow for that extra week of injuries, suspensions, etc. to come in, so you can really go from 1 week wild card into the bench boost. But I will note it is an international game week between 7 and 8, I'm pretty sure, off the top of my head. So I've actually made sure that this team has some money in the bank in case I do pick up an injury or suspension. I do have 2 free transfers going into this week anyhow, so I could make 2 moves in game week 8 if needs be in an emergency as well to make sure that I can bench boost in 8. So that's kind of the parameters I gave myself before building, was bench boost game week 8, target those fixtures where some of the players don't have to have too much money on the bench. And led me to this team. There's a couple of players I don't have in this squad that I really wanted to. If you looked in the group chat, Dom and Paul, you would have noticed there's one guy I was screaming about in chat and I don't know how to get him in. And that's Tarkowski. I can never pronounce his name properly, but there you go.
It's called Tark.
Yeah, Big Tark.
Big Tark.
I think he's the biggest admission, and I'll spend a second speaking why. Hits DevCon basically every game week. Didn't do it last game week because that's the kind of team that I had. That was always going to happen. So anyhow, but the main reason I really like him is because even those hard games generally has a ceiling of free like Anderson does. However, with his fixtures at the moment, I don't think I can go there. So he has a good fixture against Palace this week, but I'm planning to have double Palace attack, which I do have on screen. Makes no sense to have a defender playing against double Palace attack, so I can't hold him there. Then he goes into Man City the week I want a bench boost. I don't really want to have an asset playing City because if they do slap 4 or 5 past Everton, which could happen, that even if he gets DevCon, it's not going to be many points. And then I think the week after that is Spurs, and I expect Spurs to score. So can I get a better defender in that can mirror those DEFCON, etc.? And historically, Verge has got DEFCON quite easily. Last week, he didn't do it again. Oh, no, he did. Got credited after the 90 minutes. That's why I ended up on 2
Yeah, but
points.
he got booked. Yeah.
Yeah. So decided that was my big pain point. What I do is, do I go and keep Tuck up the top because I like him, or do I bin him off and maybe have a plan to get him back in game week 10, 11, 12, 13 when they have some better fixtures? So I thought we'll be aggressive and bin him off and go, I'll back Virgil for DevCon and the likelihood that he has better attacking threat. And to be fair, I don't think Chelsea attackingly have been that great the last couple of weeks. I think Dom, our resident Chelsea fan, can talk about that. Hence why I don't have a certain Joe Pedro, and I do not feel bad about it as well. In terms of the actual players that I went for, I did have Gyökeres in my last draft. I've binned him off now. I don't think Arsenal attackers looked all that great, to be fair. I feel like Gyökeres is proving the old adage I said at preseason. Arsenal strikers just generally don't seem to score well. Famous last words before he goes on a run of scoring goals. But
the games that he's not scored in is Liverpool away, Man City at home, and Newcastle away. Like, they're not easy games, and he's got West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Burnley, Sunderland coming up.
I understand that, but the striker assets haven't been that great, and there's probably better value at cheaper. So I'd rather take the upside of a under-owned Saka, who's coming back to minutes, played 69 on the weekend. He's going to get 60 to 90 minutes moving forward and go back to being 90 minutes every week. I may as well take the upside of a lower-owned Arsenal asset who historically has been massive in potential scoring in terms of in FPL, over 200 points a season as a mid. I'd rather go there than against everyone who's gone the template Gyökeres. Main reason for that as well is Mateta has looked fantastic without scoring, and I'm happy to put myself through that pain, even though I've owned him for quite a long time in FPL already this season. And Isildur's had the second most shots inside the box to Haaland, and if you see in game week 8, he does have Wolves and will be on my bench boost. So I feel like going no Gyökeres has freed up the funds to allow me to have the team that's on screen, which is Raya in goal with Gabriel, Virgil, and Senesi, with my bench defenders being Anderson and Alderete's look the best of the 4.0s, getting DevCon playing 90 minutes for Sunderland. And as you can tell, he's playing Wolves the next week for my bench boost. Semenyo, Saka, Enzo, Sarr with Anthony, again, targeting that bench boost the week after against Leeds at home. He's been scoring and looking good for Burnley, so happy to go there. Isildur has had the most shots. I'm actually planning to play him against Man United because I think Man United have been pretty poor. Haaland, obviously, coming in with no more Salah in the side. And Mateta, I think, has looked the best of the 7.5 mils. Joe Pedro's highly owned. If he does score, it does hurt. But I feel like there's better upside on Mateta at the moment. And if he does start converting chances, which historically, like last season, he does, he's going to be the highest scoring 7.5 over the next 4 to 5 weeks, you would say. Picks I'm excited by, obviously Sarr. He touched on it, Paul, so I'm more than happy to let you talk about Sarr. But yeah, he looks fantastic. I think he's absolutely nailed and their best player. So really want to be having a piece of Sarr. And I'm actually excited by Anthony because I can play him in a lot of fixtures as that 5th choice midfielder when I decide that I only want to play 3 at the back instead of 4. Thoughts on that before I show you the bench boost in game week 8?
Go for it, Dom.
Yeah, you kind of ticked all the boxes, especially in the next, say, 3 weeks. So, like you said, your rank should boost, like boom. Should. The only thing is Mateta. I don't know.
Palace have looked so good. 18 games unbeaten. They're second in the league. I know
he's not scoring.
It does. I guess it's the case of what's the eye data and the data desk telling you, and the eye data and the eye test and the data is telling you that Palace is scoring. He's looking good. He's just missing chances. So I would rather go for that than I better just go for Joe Pedro, but Chelsea look awful. And I'm not going to.
I wouldn't touch Pedro.
The only other thing I can do is go down to Thiago and then move one of my mids up to another premium midfielder. But why would you go to Bruno Fernandes, to be quite fair, at the moment?
Mate, you can crucify me for this. Walter Maid from Newcastle.
Still same thing. I still prefer Mateta, proven. They're second in the league for a reason. I think he's going to be fine as well, but I'd rather Mateta's current fixtures moving forward and the ability to double up, because if it ain't him, it's going to be Saar.
Live by the sword, die by the sword, I guess, eh?
But he's a good option in Newcastle. I don't mind him.
I'm worried about Saka at 9-8. Just minutes. I know Madueke's injured, but that squad's so deep. Like, the reason why Saka was such a good option was he was on penalties and he played every minute of every game available. So I wouldn't be expecting perfect minutes from him coming off another hamstring issue. That's probably the one concern I've got. Enzo, again, how long's Palmer out for? Does Enzo go back to being an 8 instead of being a 10? Enzo's value's been in being a 10. I know there's no Delap either at the moment for Chelsea. So that's why I just like João Pedro, because I know Chelsea are conceding goals, but they're still scoring goals. I know they only scored 1, but they're 1-0 up when they get the red card again. Surely they sort their discipline out. But I'd be worried. 2 red cards in a row, yeah. Yeah, and I'd just wipe those games, because Chelsea have got those red cards and gone super defensive, and then it's hard to get back into a gear when you've made tactical decisions to go defensive and then you fall behind like they did against Man United and against Brighton. Look, Liverpool this week's not ideal for João Pedro, but our defence has been dog shit too. So
could be a 4, could be 8 goals in this game.
That's what I'm saying. And he's played 90 minutes. What's that? 4 out of the last 5 and 78 against Brentford. I'm just a big João Pedro fan though, so that's just me personally. But again, I can see why with the bench boost, with Alderete at 4 mil and with DC potential as well. I think the rest of it's solid. What's the best 11 though? If you're relying on Isidore, is it a 4-4-2
not really. I think the best
11
is probably a 4-4-2 with Anderson playing most weeks because of DC. I think that makes a lot of sense. When you look at it and the rotation, I've looked all the way through to game week 13. So a lot of 90 pluses with a 96 in game week 10 and a 94 in game week 11. That's a good comment superposition, but I would also say that they're very focused on the league itself and not much else. Not much of a break over the summer. I don't think they really did too much. It wasn't like Chelsea. They went to the Club World Cup.
So,
I think it means that the summer coming up more than the summer's just gone.
Well, look, when the summer comes up, a lot of this question comes up a lot. But who do you want? Players that are going to play 90 minutes and are nailed for their teams. I'm gonna go out here on a limb, and you guys will probably back me up. When you think of Palace's best side, who's the 90-minute men that are going to play? It's going to be Munoz, Saar, and Mateta with Henderson in goal. That's the core. So I
guess the worry there is Saar's just come off of a hamstring injury that.
I don't see it. If he was a worry, he wouldn't have played on the weekend. So I think he's perfectly fine. He's going to play 90. He generally always has. So yeah, I've gone for guys that are going to play 90 minutes. Mateta's one, Saar's another.
Isidore won't.
Isidore's been in this team and starting now, and I don't see him coming
out. He hasn't played 90, but he'll start.
He'll start, and I don't see him not starting. And for my 5.6 mil striker, who I only need for 1 game week, realistically, which is next week, I ain't going to play him this week because I think United are that bad. But, I think it's perfectly fine. I think this team gives me everything I want, which is a good bench boost 8 and depth and players that aren't too expensive on my bench that can play if needs be. And on top of that, the flexibility of 1.5 mil if I do want to make a pivot anywhere else, or if one of these goes wrong, like a Saka, etc. But I'm very bullish, especially on Saka. I know that you're worried. I just think Arteta loves him that much. I think they need to play him 90 minutes. I think he knows that if he's going to win this title fight between us, Liverpool and City, he needs to probably win the next 30 games. So every game's a cup final. He's going to start him if he's fit and firing. I honestly believe that. We've seen that throughout the seasons. That's the game week 8 bench boost, as you would see. I would say to play something a bit similar or a bit different. Why no Palace defense, more guaranteed minutes in DevCon. I just don't like much of their defenders. Munoz, I don't think it's great for DevCon, even though I think he's the best attacking. Richards yet again, but who do I drop from this defense?
Alderete.
Yeah, I get that as well, but wouldn't I rather have the flexibility for future game weeks to go and get a mid in? I think that's a plan.
Oh, I put Trippies out. Well, who are you going to... If you don't go with the third slot, who are you going to go... what other Palace player are you going to go?
There's a few options.
You're going to get Yeremy Pino.
No, I probably was thinking Henderson, actually. I've seen Henderson
No.
at some stage, but
No.
I don't know. I just don't. I don't know. I think Alderado is a good pick at 4.0. Getting DevCon every week, playing 90 minutes, plays Wolves next, which is a pretty good fixture as well, and something that look really good. So yeah, I just think that it's better there. I've had a Palace defender this whole time, and like they've been okay. But I honestly think the best Palace defender at the moment is either Richards. Guahi won't continue this. He scored 3 goals in like 4 seasons, and now he's gone ballistic.
He's gone and got 2. Well, he got
so
2
it's
goals.
Not Guahi, it's not Guahi. It's not Munoz. It maybe is Rocks. Maybe it's Richards. But yet again, I would put first Nessie and Anderson over Richards.
So do I.
And I have Virgil and Gabriel, and I'm not going to play 5 defenders. So you may as well have a 4.0. Who's the best 4.0? Yeah. It's Alderado. So who do I miss out? It is a Palace defender. And plus, if I'm looking at a bench boost, yeah, great. If Bournemouth in 8, who comes out on my team for that bench boost, it's Anderson. Who would you rather long-term, Anderson, or would you rather Chris Richards? I think it's Anderson, to be fair. He's more consistent, I would say, with his DevCon historically from last season and this season. So, yeah, it's a toss-up between those two. So, yeah, I'd rather go for the non-Palace defense, double up on that Palace attack, which has looked really good, and have 2 assets from a team that's currently sitting second in the Prem and look really good. In terms of the bench boost, though, Dubravka against Leeds is fine. The game would say for me to play Anderson at home instead of Isidore coming in or Alderate. I think this is a little bit wrong. I don't think Alderate's ceiling is 5 points against Wolves. I think it's more
probably it's DEFCON and
3 points. It's DEFCON in the clean sheet. I don't know if it's clean sheet.
Yeah,
I think it's just going to be 3 points here. So I'd rather play Alderate on the bench and Anderson starting, who I know will hit DEFCON 100% in this game. Same with Senesi. Like the hub would like me to drop Senesi and Anderson to the bench for Alderate and Isidore. And I think when I look at it, I'm just like, there's cases to start Senesi against Palace. There's cases to start Anderson as well. It's not great to bench boost when I have Sarr and Mateta playing against Senesi, but it is what it is. And then the other thing is probably to play Isidore over Enzo, which I could do. But Ange Postecoglou's side, no Palmer in the team for this game week. He won't be back by this game week from what they're saying. So Enzo's going to be on Ben's 90 minutes and in the 10 against the Ange Postecoglou side that can't defend. So, yeah, I'm not going to bench Enzo. If I was making it a normal game week decision, I would probably bench Isidore if that was my other decision. Anthony's the other one that could come in as well. And maybe it's for Enzo, but yet again, it is a bench boost week and it's very similar. So, maybe if I'd moved Anthony for Enzo, my bench would be Dubravka, Isidore, Enzo, and Alderate. All of them have good fixtures and look really good. And I think it's a pretty good bench boost.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm in agreement with that. Cool. Well, if you are in that same boat and you need a wild card for the week, I might throw... Damon just removed it. That's right. Can you add it back one more time? I'll throw it back on the screen.
Yeah, can do. All good, mate. Wildcard 7, there you go, mate.
Thank you.
Load in now.
Perfect. So I'll just read it through one more time. Raya, Gabriel, Virgil, Senesi, Sarr, Enzo, Saka, Semenyo, Isidore, Haaland, Mateta, Dubravka, Anthony, Anderson, and Alderate. Get in the comments down below. Let us know what your thoughts are of Damo's side that he will likely be going with this week. Doesn't mean he's locking it in on Tuesday. Some interesting things is that double premium defense as well, actually. You don't see too many people rolling around with Gabriel and Virg.
Yeah, so Ray and Gabriel I can hold them up until game week 30 when I wildcard again, right? And that's perfectly fine. Virgil has some good fixtures from game week 13 and has better short-term fixtures than Tarkowski. I could go to a Palace defender here and then move Virg down, but then what am I going to do with the extra 2.5 million? I don't know. Because
Pedro or something like that.
It could be Saka to Salah, really, and then it's a Salah Haaland draft. But I see no need. Salah's pretty poor, so I'd rather take the upside of Saka. I don't want to have Yorkeres because I think defensively Arsenal are the best defense. So you want to double up, and I don't want to go to Saliba. So Gabriel and Raya make the most sense. So yeah, I don't know where you put those funds. Enzo to Mbeumo, I would say arguably Enzo's a much better. Saka's no pens, isn't he? Just really rotation risk. I think that's pretty harsh.
I don't mind it though.
At the moment.
It's not a bad comment.
Well, then in that case, then I think the meta is let's everyone go pick 5.5 to 6.5 mil midfielders, 4.0 to 4.5 mil defenders. 4.5 to 5.5 mil keepers and everyone 4.5 mil strikers apart from Haaland. Everyone have about 13 to 20 mil in their funds then, if that's the way
I agree.
Like, that's the way the landscape's currently shaping, which is very odd. But anyhow, Saka's data historically, even without penalties, is fantastic. He's their best player by a mile. So I don't understand the Saka hate. But yeah, anyhow.
Cool. Well, we've got some time to answer questions. I don't think there's a whole lot else to really talk about. I don't think there was heaps that stood out this week other than our boys over performing like a Erling Haaland and whatnot. If I bring up the points predictions, let's do the points predictions generally. I feel like Damo was probably going to, in essence, talk about this through his wildcard chat because predicted points. Here we go. All right. So don't mind me if you see me sort of staring off into the distance. It's because I'm looking on the other screen. So obviously Haaland and Salah still through Hub's points predictions are going to be the highest, which they are. We've got, let me just go out one more. There we go. So Haaland predicting about 80 minutes. It's obviously factoring in Champions League as well. Salah's predicted 90, which is interesting. But again, I'm right off of Mo Salah at the moment. His heat map's not great. He's not super involved. Like he was in the mix for the. Yeah, I wouldn't go near him at the moment at 14.5 mil. And it's funny that Haaland has almost caught him in price already, which is very, very interesting. Seeing that Haaland started at 14 and Salah was 14.5. Semenyo, I think if you don't own him at this point, your rank's probably in the mud because he is absolutely flying. I'm still, as a Bruno owner that's played my wild card, there's still something in there about Bruno. He's just one of those midfielders that's got, I wouldn't be buying him, but if you've got him, I think you just ride it because he just can pop off in any game week and he's got Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, Tottenham, Everton, Palace, West Ham. I just think I'm fine with just riding him in my midfield with a Semenyo and just he'll get his weeks where he'll pop up and score like he does against Chelsea. And if he scores one of those two penalties against Fulham and who they play on the weekend, Brentford, you're not concerned at all about his points. So I'm fine with Bruno. And the DC's there. I think that's what saved him this week, wasn't it? Well, didn't save him. He still got -1. He was on 11 this week. So twice he's hit 11 and he's had 13 and 17. Like, he is a good asset. So I wouldn't be panicking at all. Damo, can you talk through this one as I continue through going?
Yeah, look, I've looked into it. And if you look at the Saligo analytics page, they recommend 5-4-1, 4-5-1 at the moment. And it makes a lot of sense because, Haaland is the only striker really doing like bits. I will say there's some other cheaper strikers doing really well too. Joe Pedro, start of the season was really good. You got Walter Marte. You got strikers that at 7.5 mil are going to, pop off at some stage, right? Thiago's done really well for 6 mil, etc. I think it's definitely plausible because how good DevCon is to play just 5 defenders each week. Very similar to, I think, like years ago where Chilwell was flying, Reece James was flying, Robertson was flying, Trent was flying. The meta was to play 4 to 5 defenders each week, but it was because the fullbacks were like going nuts. I definitely think it's viable. I've looked into it and kind of why my wildcard's kind of set that way because, Isildur doesn't need to play. So it's going to be, 5-3-2, 4-4-2. It could even be 4-5-1 in the really bad weeks for Isildur and Mateta moving forward. But, I think there's definitely some merit in this. What I will also preference that is that if you do set up 5-4-1, what does your bench look like? And there's no 4.5 mil striker that's playing. So, you're probably a little bit short. And
I think your cheapest you can go is like 5-5 and you just plug and play them when you want. So you've got like Isidore at 5-6. I mean, Calvert-Lewin's just screaming for an injury, isn't he? He's played 90 minutes twice.
That's the most
you're not really
player,
wanting to go there. Like Krupi, if in a world where he could get some minutes, like he saw his finish against Leeds, was very nice and he is a good footballer. But you're kind of looking at, if you're going to lock in 2 cheap forwards to do that, it's probably Isidore and Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
they're the only two that are starting, and it's 5-5 and 5-6. Which, look, I'm more of the 5-3-2 camp. I think like Semenyo is a lock and load midfielder completely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just think the DEFCON for the midfielders, like other than Caicedo, I think the DEFCON midfielders, it's really hard to get a balance of DEFCON and attacking returns. Because if you're getting 12 defensive contributions, you're not really doing much going the other way. You look at it, James Garner's sitting as the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the sixth highest scoring midfielder in the games, James Garner at 5 mil. But
yeah,
I feel like you could probably load up on somebody like Stack. You could load up on Elliot Anderson. And then you could pick one more of those 5-5s, or even if it's a Minte, who I was talking about bloody on my wild card, and he's gone 6-9-5. That decision, I've gone Grealish, who's gone 2-1-1, I think, or 2-1-2. And then I've got Minte go 6-9-5 and play 2 90s and a 75. Is there a world where you could go Minte, Elliot Anderson, and Stack, but then have Bruno, Semenyo, and one other midfielder, and then have 5-3-2 like that, or 5-4-1 like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's definitely viable. I think what you'll start seeing a lot more is a lot of 4-4-2 as well. I think coming
I'm
into
playing
fruition.
mostly.
Yeah.
I reckon eventually I'll have João Pedro go down to one of those 5-5 forwards that if I need to play them in any week, I can. And then I'll upgrade Harvey Elliott, who I took a punt on my wild card, and his minutes have gone up every week. He's gone 19, 32, 45, but some comments from Unai Emery are a bit concerning.
He got dragged in this.
Yeah,
when
I would have liked to be able to play him this week against Burnley, but that doesn't look like it's going to be an option, as all I can hear is Dom's water bottle at the moment right next to his microphone.
Sorry.
Harvey Elliott getting dragged is a bit concerning for me this week. So anyway, shall we continue on, as Dom's had his drink and can unmute himself now? Ollie Watkins, that was my decision. I went Watkins out versus Munoz out. I thought there was more chance of Munoz either getting a clean sheet or an attacking return against Liverpool, and he had a double chance from inside the box. He's one straight at Allison and heads it over the bar, and then he's got 9 DEFCON, and then they pissed the clean sheet away with 5 minutes to go. That could have been an absolute monster haul for Daniel Munoz. End of the day, it burns me big time, because if I'd gone the other way, the underlying factor was it would have priced me out of Raya.
Yeah.
So end of the day, long term, I made the right decision for the team. It's annoying that the swing was 11 points this week, but it's a long-term game. Ollie Watkins, Villa finally get on the board with 3 points. What are our thoughts with Ollie Watkins moving forward? The fixtures aren't great after Burnley. Like, everyone's sell point is game week 8. Yeah.
Bin.
I
wish I obviously last week I had a free hit and you guys took me out of having Watkins on the free hit. Doesn't matter, because it was probably definitely don't think it's a smart move having a guy that's blank so often. But if you got him, you have to hold him this week. But you have to bin him off after game week 7.
Yeah. Dom, as the Watkins owner.
Yeah, he's probably he's got to go. Play him this week, then got to go. If you've held him this long, he returned last week. You got your goal. Hold him another week.
Yeah, and then see you later.
Until Villa start showing us, last season's form.
I'm worried with Europe starting as well. I'm really worried with Europe. Yeah, and I think there's better value. If you are just joining us, make sure you do hit the like button. We're about 9 likes away from, or actually I should say 11 likes away from the target that we want for tonight. We want to hit 25 likes on the stream. So if you can help us, that would be fantastic. Unless I've missed something. I had so many people in the chat. So yeah, we've had plenty of people in the chat. So if you are here and you're passing by, make sure you hit the like for us. Next up is Mateta. I mean, was again another nearly man this year. Hits the inside of the post and somehow it stays out against Liverpool as well. And, if he scores that, everyone's running to go get him with Everton, Bournemouth in the next 2. So I don't know. I'm a bit of a wait and see on Mateta. I went João Pedro thinking that he was going to be in maybe a bit more high-powered offense. I think Palace's attack's not looking as sharp, but they will click at some point.
I don't know. That first 45 minutes against us on the weekend was quite scary. On a different day, we're up against a different goalkeeper that's not Donovan or Allison. They're 4-0 up at halftime. So,
yeah, but that's been the story the whole year, though. They're not putting teams away. Like, they're winning games, but they're not doing it.
They will at some stage.
Yeah, that's it. And it's picking when that time is. And maybe there's a time where I go João Pedro away, but I only brought João Pedro in this week, and I still think he's a fine asset. And I'm more than happy to run with João Pedro at least for the next 5 weeks anyway.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I don't think João Pedro is a bad option. I just think between the two, Mateta's the better option, considering it's Everton, then it's Bournemouth, and then I think he has Arsenal, but then I think it's like Brentford, Wolves, United.
Yeah, Brighton, Wolves, United, Burnley. Yeah. That's the stretch there where I might make the switch across. So
yeah, so instead of me having to make a switch, I can already plan for it. So
yeah, and I was also factoring in a Liverpool fixture in there for Mateta, so I dodged the one blank with a Brentford blank as well. So if I've just seen there's a big boost in people here, so if you are new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help us out. We've probably got about 5 minutes until we start answering questions. So I've got one really good wildcard question for Harry. I just want to quickly round off the numbers here. Isak's minutes are starting to look like they're going to get a bit better. I'd be concerned about Champions League football this week. Ekitike is fresh for that game. Don't be surprised if Isak is benched for Galatasaray away, gets maybe 30 minutes and comes and starts against Chelsea is what I'm thinking. And then for our fixtures, look, there might be a world where in that Sunderland fixture, I want Gyökeres to Isak in 13 potentially. And I might try and keep some money there. And hopefully by that point, we know what's going on. And maybe Ekitike does something else dumb and gets himself sent off again. And
what a silly boy.
Could have used him on the weekend. That might have cost us points. So that's where it's frustrating, but it is what it is. Gyökeres, this is the run that I went early on Gyökeres. I got the goal against Nottingham Forest, which was nice. And I knew against City and Newcastle, he was going to struggle to return. So I was prepared to wear that couple blanks, so I'm not panicking on a Gyökeres just yet. But you can see even from 13, he goes Chelsea away, Brentford at home. You know, maybe you want to keep Gyökeres for Brentford at home. But West Ham, Fulham, Palace, Burnley, Sunderland. I think Gyökeres is going to be that kind of striker who's going to bully the bad teams when Arsenal are going to have the ball and they're going to be clipping balls in and they're going to bounce off of him and they're going to have runners going off him. I think that's when he's going to play well. I don't think he's the type of striker that against good sides is going to be comfortable taking the ball and going at people. Like, he just doesn't look like that kind of striker that's going to just change the game on his own back. I think the games where they're in front and there's space for him to then go in behind, he's going to be an absolute menace. So I'd expect him to score his 2s and 3s against West Ham's and Burnley's and Sunderland's and Fulham's potentially. But I think, against the top 7 might be a bit harder for Gyökeres. Dom, as the resident striker, what are your early thoughts on his start to the season? Was he scored 6 goals, 5 or 6?
Who's that?
Gyökeres. We scored 2 against Leeds. He scored 1 against Forest.
3 goals.
Has he only got 3? Maybe he's got 3.
Only 3. Yep, just 3. Yeah, he'll score
3.
goals. He'll hit 15, say, for the season, but still a bit reserved on him.
He's had 4 lots of 90 minutes though, which I like.
Yeah, like you said, I guess those smaller teams, he's going to bang them in. He's clinical. He'll just get so many chances. He'll put the good ones away. He'll hit you 15 goals. I think he's still, they're so saturated the forward market that there's just like you said, bar Haaland. Who is there? If you had to say who's one forward you're leaving in your team for the rest of the season?
If I could go and restructure my team, I'd be going 5-3-2 now, and it would be Haaland and Gyökeres locked and loaded.
Yep.
It would be Semenyo and 2 midfielders that I'm happy with, and maybe I wouldn't have Bruno, but I'm happy to have Semenyo, Bruno, and 1 more, which is potentially Grealish or Ndiaye, one of those, and then it's 5 gun defenders that are getting clean sheet in DC. That's what I'd be doing.
Who did we have last season? I can't remember. Who were the Haaland was out.
Haaland, Watkins, Wood,
Mateta, Isak.
And none of them are really
doing anything.
Yeah. So
I'd just be locking in Gyökeres and Haaland and just set, forget, and take the good with the bad.
You say that and look at the person right underneath him. Same predicted start time, same predicted points. Basically, it would be 0.1. And look at the difference in ownership.
Yeah,
and he gets an extra point for clean sheets, which Arsenal.
Yeah, but that's factored into the predictions, Damo.
So yeah,
that's all factored into the predictions. But my worry with Saka is the injury history. Is my worry. At least with Gyökeres, he's up front. Mikel Merino is not just magically going to start up front. Like Havertz is out for a while. I know Madueke's out, but there's just more scope for minutes to not be there for Saka than for Gyökeres, personally. I'd rather, and I'm saving 0.8 mil, and it's in a position where I don't like really any other options anyway. So at least with the midfielders, you can get creative and find cheaper alternatives doing similar. Forwards are forwards. I think, yeah, it's a hard decision. I'm not going to lie about that. Anyway, that is the roundup of the high. I mean, that's more the high end players. Like I could go and pull this price down to, 8 million, which factors Bruno out. And you're looking at Semenyo, Mateta, Gabriel, and then next up, João Pedro. So, you're talking about, Mateta versus João Pedro. You're talking about 3 points over, 8 game weeks. It's not a whole lot. And it comes down to, who's the more clinical player. What's the role look like? The fixture difficulties similar. So again, it's a money thing. Foden, I know he blanked this week, but I think what's going on with Cherky? Is he injured?
Injured.
Yeah, injured.
Okay. I was going to say,
and he looked and I know Foden failed miserably for me on free hit. He looked fantastic, to be honest. Linked everything. Was always a part of his sister. Moved the ball left and right. Looked unreal. There's got to be points for him, but yeah.
Who wants to talk about Jared Bowen?
Go, Dom. I think you love him the most out of us three. And saying that, I do have him in the
Someone just wrote.
Yeah, I just had it on. I just had it. But it covers your face, so I didn't want to leave it on there too long whilst you're talking.
Nah, people prefer that. I don't know if you watched the game today. It looked very sharp. Nice goal. You got to think, in the Premier League, there's so many goals scored. We see like every year more and more, averaging, I think, 2.5 goals a game in the league. West Ham, they suck. Someone's got to score goals. Who's it going to be?
And it's not Fulkrug.
No, I don't want to hear that name ever again. It's got to be someone, and it's going to be Jared Bowen.
Look, him and Paqueta, I'm intrigued. I just can't buy right now because what's Nuno going to do with his team long term? Like he played 4-2-3-1 this morning just because of that's who he's got.
Had to. Yeah.
But what's to say? Like if you've got Diouf playing left wing back in his old system, the issue is he hasn't got a right wing back. Like Wan-Bissaka, we know he can't do that job.
Well, I'm so keen for Diouf. I'm so keen for Diouf with Nuno.
If Diouf can do what we've seen with Olarena, but on the left, then he's going to be incredible. But like they're not the same wingers as well. Like West Ham don't have the quick, dynamic, get in behind wingers, and Bowen isn't that anymore. So it's hard for me to recommend to anybody to buy West Ham assets until we know what's going on with their system. Thoughts, Damo, before we move on?
Look, I like it because he's the talisman. I'm very big on the talisman being your focal point for your transfers. Hence why, Mateta at Palace or Sarr at Palace. You've got Chris Wood historically at Forest. You can. There's so many down the line that have been great FPL assets. We know Bowen's quality, and we know that Nuno can get the talisman scoring goals in his assist sides. I don't think Bowen will be their main man. This is going to sound ludicrous. You boys are going to laugh at me. When you think of Nuno strikers, you think of the big, tall, physical striker, Chris Wood.
Fulkrug.
I didn't want to get crucified, but I see Bowen playing out wide, and Fulkrug will be the one.
Fulkrug started up front.
Fulkrug's going to be the one that's going to get the fair share of the goal share. I would say.
Man, imagine they had Kudus in this team too.
Yeah. And look, I will say that it's not the week to go get him. It's Arsenal, right? But I will say from game week 8, they have a good run of fixtures. Hence why they sacked Potter. So Nuno came in with some good fixtures and bed the team in these good fixtures. I think it's definitely one to wait and watch in second half of the year if Nuno's got his team playing how a Nuno side is.
Lucas Paqueta could be an absolute steal.
Assets in our side.
Paqueta could be a steal. Penalties, DC as a 8 as well.
Yeah.
He could be the Elliot Anderson of this team. Like that's the role. Like I don't know who took set pieces. I haven't looked at the data much from this game in particular. But I'm looking at he's got Kyle Walker-Peters straight in playing right back. He's got Diouf playing left back. They've both played as wing backs as well. Yeah. You got Kilman, Mavropanos, And also, who's the guy that was at Wolves? The centre back, is it Kilman?
Max Kilman.
Oh, so Kilman played. So maybe they don't have the centre back depth, maybe to play 3 at the back. I'm just looking at the squad from this morning, and there's no real centre back staring out at me. So it might be that they play 4-3-3 or this 4-1-4-1 shape to start with. But anyway, we've probably spoken more than enough on West Ham.
Look, I will say, before we do, he was in one of my drafts today over Isidore.
Who? So,
no, Bowen.
Oh, he's a forward.
Yeah, because I'll bench him this week, and then in game when I bench boost, he will play. And he's got great fixtures.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. As an 8 million forward, it's hard as well. Or what is he? 7.7 now?
7.7. That's the thing. He's come down a lot in price, which is like 0.3 down. So, like, you got Joe Pedro, who's at 7.6. You've got
7.8. No, Joe Pedro is 7.8.
You've got Mateta at 7.5, who's about to go up in price. You've got a couple others as well in and around that price. Well, Martin's like 7.1, right? So, like, to get to Bowen and you know what he's capable of, and if Nuno does get him going, right?
Man, the fact that I can take Joe Pedro down to Jared Bowen in a couple of weeks is scary too.
Yeah, correct. So, like, I think he's definitely a viable option. I don't know if you could do it this game week, but he was part of my thoughts on my wild card.
All right. Before we get into another wildcard discussion here with Harry, we are up to 17 likes. Can we turn that into 25? The numbers have been very, very strong tonight through the viewership. So let's try and push that as high up as we can. The question on screen from Harry, wildcard at the moment is Raya and Dubravka as his 2 keepers. Senesi, Gabriel, my boy Dan Byrne, I love it, and Richards. So you've got a very similar defense to me. I've got Tarkovsky, you've got Richards, and I've got Anderson. Who's the other defender there?
Yeah, he's lifted out a defender there.
Yeah, there's a defender, unless it's maybe Estev, but anyway. Oh, no, it's Rodon. Sorry.
Oh, no, Rodon. Didn't even see
it.
I like that pick, by the way. I think it's a good pick, Rodon. But
yeah. And then Enzo, Foden, Semenyo, Minte, Sarr. So very budget midfield. And Minte is someone I love the look of. And I'm actually looking at how can I get Harvey Elliott to Minte, because it's not a huge price change for me to get there. And Harvey Elliott's just not looking like the player that Minte is. And Minte is just a gun, and I love him.
Based.
And then we've got Ismail Assar in there as well. And then Haaland, Gyökeres, Bowen. No Liverpool, but I'm good with that. Thoughts, Damo?
I think it's very good. I quite like it. You've got the free Arsenal assets. You've got a good 4.0 that's good for DC. You think Rodon or Alderete is the best, and then it's Goodmanson, because those two are just going to be heading balls away, getting your DC. So I like that. Also think Enzo's a great pick, 90 minutes, currently on penalties until Palmer's back. Even when he plays in the 8, he's creative. So, yeah, I really think that's a really good looking wild card at the moment, Harry.
Thoughts, Dom?
Yeah, love it. Love the Minte pick. He's on my radar for a potential free hit. Past few weeks, he just looks so good. Like on the break, he's just like rapid, gets him behind, knows where the goals are. Good point of difference pick, Harry.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that as well. Just having a look at the comments that we've missed out on. Hi, well, I don't know what NTMY means. Anyway, Pope or Raya for a wild card. I would 100% be going with Raya at the moment. I think the fixtures are turning big time for Arsenal, and you definitely will want a piece of the Arsenal defense. Scotty has just got his wild card in there. So Pope, Gabriel, Digne, Richards, and Alderete and Diouf. So a couple attacking defenders there, which is interesting. Saka, Minte, Doku, Semenyo, Eze, Haaland, Mateta, JP, no Sarr, but I like that midfield. I'd be worried if Doku long term. I don't know about these Arsenal mids, man. I'm worried about Arsenal mids with the rotation. Damo, I can see you looking puzzled there. What's your...
Yeah, I don't know if I would go Eze. I will say with Madwake here, I do think Eze and Saka are going to be nailed for most games, but Eze's going to have more competition from Martinelli, etc. Where Saka's, I think, more nailed on the right hand side.
I think, true. But
yeah,
you want to save a bit of points, because Eze could do 3 contributions in 60 minutes. He's that good.
Yeah, correct. I think it's...
On dead balls.
Yeah, look, what I will say is I think Pope versus Ray is really close because I think Newcastle defensive data has been really good for 7 weeks, or 6 game weeks, sorry.
Flying the radar.
I think Pope's the best 5.0 personally to go with. I know people will be shouting Vicario, but I do think it's Pope. So I like that pick. I would almost say that if you're going to go and double up on the Arsenal mids, wouldn't you just turn Eze or Saka down to Gyökeres if you've got to double up on the attack? So you got 1 mid, 1 striker, limit that rotation you could have in your team. But outside of that, it's really good. I think the Diouf pick is really interesting considering Nuno's there now, but I don't know if I would be doing
I'll just back the DC over attacking returns for fullbacks.
I think you do at the moment. Digne pick is weird, but anyhow.
Maybe Digne's been playing. Digne's been playing. So if I go and get his stats
Villa
up,
ban, maybe?
Aston Villa. Digne... Here we go. Let me share.
Look, might also be Scotty. Might also be going. Well, I'm wildcarding. I might as well attack. What they got Sunderland this week? No, they've got.
Burnley this week.
And then transfer him out in game week 8 because he's got free transfer sitting there. Maybe.
I mean, look, you've gone 90, 63, 7, 90, 57, 90 with 0.33 XA in one game, and then like the numbers just aren't.
Look, if they turn a corner.
I can't recommend anyone to go with Digne. And I think, is it Matty Cash? Like, for this, is it the same money? It's the same money. The thing with Matty Cash.
Yeah, that Consa plays it right back a bit.
No, Cash has played 90 in 5 of 6 games and 73 in the other. Consa's playing centre back.
Yeah, true.
So, like, I know the historical, like, I mean, I can't even recommend anyone going to Cash. Like, it's just. I wouldn't. I think there's enough defenders. Like you don't have. There's no Anderson. Anderson. Like I just think it's that simple. Like if you've got the money to go and get Senesi, get Senesi. Like I just think there's better 4.5, 4.8 defenders that you could just go to instead of Digne. Like I'm just
Anderson.
Yeah.
Richards.
I just think there's better options.
Roden.
Personally. Yeah. Thoughts on Van de Ven to Dan Burn? Look,
Perfect.
We know Paul's gonna love it.
I mean, look, Dan Burn's in my team. I benched him this week knowing that Arsenal was going to be a tough game. I'm just trying to get Newcastle's fixtures up in front of me. The fixtures now aren't amazing. So it's one of those picks where I got him in for Wolves and Bournemouth, and I got the 6 and 9 pointer from Dan Burn. So I didn't even realize I was sharing my screen there. Sorry. I always thought I was looking at that for myself. But anyway, look, Forest Brighton the next 2 weeks, I'm expecting goals. Like I'm starting Dan Burn in my side this week. And it's more for I'm hoping that he gets DC. So if we look at his DC over the last few games, in the tougher games, he gets defensive contributions. They went back to a back 4 this week, which is a bit interesting, but I think they're a bit light on defense. But against Bournemouth, they played it with a 5, and he just like plays that left centre back role so well. Hall and Livramento just bomb on. He almost slides out and plays as a left back in that shape, but it just allows him to do a lot of the tackling and the clearances when they play that way. I expect to go back. Yeah, with Fabian Schär potentially back and Thior back and Botman back. I expect him to probably play that 5-3-2, whatever it is, a bit more, and really get Hall and Livramento bombing on. So Forest at home, I'd play him because it's a home fixture at St. James Park is always difficult. He still finished on 9 DC against Arsenal, and it's probably a game where I expected him to get DC, which would have been nice. I don't quite know why. Oh, because he played 90 minutes and conceded 2 goals, so that's why he got 0 points. Brighton, I don't love, but then you get Fulham, West Ham, Brentford, and then City, like you're not going to play him. And then you go Everton, Tottenham, Burnley, Sunderland, Chelsea, Man United, Burnley, Palace, Leeds, Wolves, Villa. That's why I picked Dan Burn. That is purely why I picked Dan Burn.
And you can rotate him with
you
another
can just
one.
play him in and out, and there'll be games where you have him on the bench and he does well. I'll give you a sneak peek at my team because why not? I am making 1 transfer. So if I just go share screen and my team. So Munoz will be Gabriel. I'll be making that move after Arsenal. As you can see, most weeks I'm playing 4-3-3. So Harvey Elliott and Elliot Anderson sit on my bench until there's just a good enough fixture that I'll have to play Elliot Anderson. And literally Harvey Elliott right now is just, you can sit on my bench until I'm ready to restructure with 3 or 4 transfers up my sleeve. So that's why I'm happy to play. When I keep saying, like, have a set and forget midfield 3, I know Grealish won't play in game week 8, but I believe my plan in game week 8, if I get my team up, is it's 4-3-3 still, and it's Elliot Anderson against Chelsea, and you're just going to try and take the DC in that game.
Yeah.
This is why I like having Dan Burn, because I've got the option with Gabriel, Tarkovsky, Senesi, and Burn. Like next week, I'm just going to play Burn and Anderson and bench Tarkovsky, and you just cop Anderson at home to Fulham. And same thing, Dom, we saw him concede 3 goals this week, and he still walked away with a 3-pointer because Anderson will guarantee get DC against Arsenal.
Yep.
So that's why I like this structure, because I just play the best fixtures. This week it's Anderson away at Bournemouth. I'm going to play Senesi at home to Fulham.
Yeah.
Pretty simple. So I'm playing all home fixtures in my defence this week because Munoz will be Gabriel too. So that's my thoughts around defence. So sorry if I went away from the actual question of Van de Ven to Burn, but yes, I would be doing that depending on your team. So I'm very much in. Jackie just brought in Burn as well. Look, I'm a fan of it. Don't expect goals. I know he's 6'7" and he goes up for set pieces, but he's not an attacking guy. He's a clean sheet DC player. So 9 points is his ceiling. So, and there we go. That's what I like to see. Scotty, the defense rotates nicely, which is what you've planned. So, okay, if you're happy with the planning on that wild card, that is fine. And you've used no chips, fantastic. That's fine, Scotty. There's more than 10 4.5 defenders better value than Digne. I probably do agree with that too. I think
there is, if you come to think of it, because there's some 4.0s I would have ahead of Digne, to be honest. But yeah.
Yeah. Again, like I haven't looked at the rotation as well. So we are up to 21 live likes on the stream, guys. So can we push? There's 19 of us sitting in the chat at the moment. Can 4 of you just hit that like button and get us to the 25? If you can also subscribe if you're new, that would be great too. We have picked up, we've picked up quite a few subscribers tonight. I just refreshed it. We're up to 134. Let's try and leave us with 140. There's 19 of us here. 6 of us hit the subscribe button and another 4 of us hit the like button. That would be fantastic. We do love answering all your questions. Harry, is captaincy even a consideration this game week, especially with Arsenal at home versus the Hammers? Now, I wouldn't bank West Ham to be the easiest defense to break down now that Nuno is in charge. I'm still going Haaland against Brentford because Brentford's defense still aren't great. I wouldn't be going Bruno. I think Bruno's the kind of player where if he hauls and you take it, but I wouldn't be going there with the armband. Salah, who are we playing? I don't know who we're playing this week.
We're playing Chelsea. As much as they look whatever, I wouldn't do it away from home.
At the Bridge. Yeah, wouldn't be going there. No, I'd be going Haaland over Gyökeres. If you don't own Haaland, then I'd still be going Bruno over Gyökeres. Oh no, I'd go Gyökeres at home. I'd go the Arsenal boys over Bruno, but I think it's Haaland on an island.
Now that Nuno's in charge, I don't like it as much. But yeah, I think if you don't have Haaland,
you're going Haaland, Arsenal, Salah, Bruno in that order.
No, I would have Bruno ahead of Salah this week.
Wow. Sunderland defense at Old Trafford, they're going to sit there.
Yeah, but Sunderland will try and attack because they're so bad.
Sunderland are actually good, though.
I think it's tight. I think it's
really close. And I think if you're thinking that it's between Salah and Bruno, I'm probably telling you, can you not make 2 transfers and get Haaland in?
Yeah, I agree. I think Haaland is on an island this week with that. Dom, Gyökeres. I mean, look, if you're desperate for Gyökeres or Saka, I don't mind it. All right. Do you prefer Mateta and Saliba, João Pedro and Timber, or Mateta and Timber, Damo?
Mateta and Saliba.
Mateta.
I'm worried about Mosquera.
Timber.
I'm worried about Mosquera.
Give me Timber.
I know at some point Saliba will be back in that lineup, but
it doesn't ease him into it. No, he's not playing this week. International break.
Yeah.
Champions League.
If I was picking from scratch, I'm probably going Mateta and Timber as well, I think.
Yeah.
Just think long term, Saliba will be nailed alongside Gabriel. But yeah, either or.
And White's
just make sure it's the Mateta option and then the other 2. The
I don't think Ben White's.
Pedro is not the one.
Jokeres versus Haaland. That's fine. Manoz for Tarkovsky. I have VVD, Gabriel, Senesi, and Goodmanson. You have Senesi. Look, I don't mind. Actually, I don't mind that. I know. I'd love to know what happened with Tarkovsky last night to only get 7 DC as well. I haven't looked too much.
Everton had the ball.
Okay, so that's not going to happen most weeks. I saw. So that's most weeks Everton are going to have the ball, so that's fine. We can live with that because most games are going to be a bit of a basketball shootout with Everton as well. So I'm just looking at the numbers here just to get an idea. 52 to 48, which, like, if I quickly go back and look at Everton's last few games, the cup, I won't count the cup. Let's go. The Liverpool game was 57-43 in favour of Liverpool. The Aston Villa 0-0 was 48-52. Where else are we?
I think it was just a poor game.
Wolves 42-58 in favour of Wolves in the league game as well. So I just think game script probably got the better of Tarkovsky. And I think Keane, did Michael Keane get
got a goal?
In that? He got a goal.
Yeah. He got DC.
He got DC. He got 13. So this week just happened to be his turn where he's had 13, 14, and 13 this year. So, but I think Branthwaite's back soon too, which probably helps Tarkovsky get more DC because Branthwaite will be more the progressive ball carrier. So that's where I'm at. But I'm for bringing Tarkovsky in, set forget, the same way Damo mentioned before. FPL Cortex, welcome along. He goes, would you start Rodon over Van de Ven in game week 7? So game week 7 fixtures, Leeds, they're playing each other. And Leeds playing at home. I actually don't mind that shout at Ellen Road.
I think the Leeds score close.
I don't know.
I
think Leeds score.
I think yes. Leeds at home aren't leaky.
They're doing 4 or 5. A lot better than I expected.
Yeah, I think all the promoted sides are doing a lot better than we all expected. I think the reason why is even if Leeds concede, only be 1 or 2, and Rodon will definitely hit DC in this game. I don't think Van de Ven will. So I think the floor of each is like 3 points or 2 points. He'd just take the floor of the 3 points, which is Rodon. But what I will say is Van de Ven has more of a ceiling where he gets a clean sheet, scores from a header because of the Xavi Simons set piece or something like that. So, depends on what you want to ride.
Yeah, and as Dom's been whacking away in the chat, we are 3 subs away from that target of 140, and we are 1 like away from 25. So if we can do that in the next couple of minutes whilst we go through the last couple comments, then we will be very, very happy with that. Get your last couple comments in the chat now as well, because we are going to wrap up very, very soon, and there's still plenty of you here, so make sure you do like the stream. Scotty goes Mateta and Calafiori as his options. I actually like that a lot. Calafiori is looking really, really locked in for minutes. That's probably the scary thing. And maybe, we're seeing a season where he's fit. Like, it's interesting. He's gone 71, 63, 90, 67, 90, 69. Now, what I like, do I love that? Not particularly, because you're not going to get DC playing those minutes. He doesn't mind getting forward, but what that does, because his scoring's been a bit the last few weeks, but you might get lucky and get a couple clean sheets where the other Arsenal defenders don't because he comes off before they concede. That's the only thing I'm thinking there. But you want to be making sure, though, that he's getting over 60 minutes. So that's, there's been a couple there, 63, 67, that you're like, if it just happens at the wrong time and Trent used to come off in the 59th minute and you'd get screwed by that. So a little bit disappointing there. Harry, this game week play one of Rodon, Richards, or Enzo. I'm going Richards every day.
Richards, but Chelsea could be a shootout.
I'm going Richards.
Give me Richards though.
Yeah, I think Richards against Everton is probably the play there.
Yeah, I think the Palace defense are very, very solid. Keane was doing all the intercepting last night. Taco was last defender tidying up, which is fair enough. And what have we got? A couple questions here to finish off with. So, Ikwan. My team is Rofe, Donnarumma. Okay, so Donnarumma's the main goalkeeper there. Tarkovsky, Byrne, Timber, Chalobah, Senesi. So, obviously, Chalobah's going to be sitting out this week. Grealish,
Yep.
Enzo, Anthony, Semenyo, Paquetá, Voltemade, Gyökeres, Haaland. Should I bench boost? Still have bench boost and free hit.
Not this week with Caliber being suspended, but I like that.
You want everyone playing.
Yeah, with Rofe. I don't know what Sunderland's fixtures are, but he's looking.
Next week is good. Next week is because I've got Isildur. That's Wolves at home, so that's a good fixture for your keeper.
He's 4.5.
You probably play.
Far out. He's got an 8, 8, 10, and a 10 through the first 6 weeks. Holy moly!
Yeah, he's making saves galore. When they keep clean sheets, he's getting bonus because he's making saves galore, and they've looked all right. So yeah,
reminds me a lot of
Brentford. A lot of their chances just being funded that they keep from distance.
I mean, if goalkeepers had DC, you would have hit it 3 times and had an 8 and a 9 in there as well.
Yeah,
that's hilarious. I love that. Yeah, I just think pick a week where Sunderland have a good fixture and away you go. And Grealish isn't playing this week as well. So, game week 8, Grealish is suspended. He's
one transfer or loan. Whatever.
Yeah, you probably get off him at that point. He's not quite been the pick I was hoping for there. So, a refill is double Arsenal defense better on wildcard with Gyökeres or Saka, Gabriel, and Gyökeres. I'm more on double Arsenal defense than double Arsenal attack, personally.
Same here.
Which is where I'll be this week when I move Munoz to Gabriel. West Ham have conceded 8 goals via set pieces this season, 4 of those from centre-backs. So Gabriel is exactly why I want him in my team.
Yep.
Again, I mean, Michael Keane scores last night, so it shows that there's still vulnerabilities to centre-backs. So he is definitely coming in, and Jemima has reminded us of Grealish's loan conditions. We've actually lost a like, so we need 2 likes to get us over the line. So can we get over the line with 2 likes and 3 subscribers? We've been on for just over an hour. This is where we will call it for tonight. It is getting late for us over in Australia. So once again, what an absolutely fantastic stream. There is plenty to talk through. As always, thank you to everybody that is in the chat. Make sure we finish off. Whoever dislikes should be ashamed.
100%.
Exactly right, Cortex.
Shame.
So can we rectify that for us, guys? And on your way out, make sure you do pay us back. We're up to 24 again, so someone has looked after us. So once again, fellas, any last closing remarks on this game week before we wrap up?
Green arrow, please.
Oh, I'm sure to come, Damo. I'm sure to come.
Please? I beg.
Yeah, but hopefully we get there for you, Damo. That would be very nice.
I think it's not all doom and gloom. As much as I do paint it in a bit of doom and gloom, it is just a differing opinion. Game week 7 is still very early, so if your rank is still 4 mil, 5 mil, whatever, you still got a long way to go to get that rank back into the top 100k. So, with that being said, my views on this game week would be exciting. Yeah, we got there. Yes.
There we go. Well, thank you to everybody.
Numbers were phenomenal. Thank you all.
Numbers were so good tonight. Ola, thank you once again.
Ola's the queen of Twitter.
Behind the scenes is pushing very, very hard for us to get that exposure, and we appreciate everything you're doing for us. Ola as well, and hopefully, from our perspective, if we can help bring people from here to you as well, then we are going in the right direction altogether, which is fantastic. This is exactly why the 3 of us have set up this platform, is so that we can connect and have these conversations on a weekly basis with a fantastic community. And that's what we're building across X and YouTube in particular. And little shout out to the TikTok crew as well. We're up to almost 150 follows over on TikTok as well. So that's the fastest growing platform behind X for us at the moment. So we are across those 3 areas. So if you are new, make sure you go across and have a look at the content over there. But we will see you guys all next Tuesday night for our Game Week 7 review.